Thanks very much. I've been doing these shows in Toronto for even longer than Grant, I think. Grant was in earlier, I was in way earlier, and I really do believe that 2014 is the inflection year for our company. The AFIRS technology is a device that goes on an aircraft and monitors everything that happens on the aircraft, sends information to the ground and then out to the customer for them to improve efficiency, to improve safety, have the information they need to operate a better airline. Everybody thinks that aviation is the most advanced industry on the planet, and it's going to have the latest technology, and there's nothing further from the truth. I used to be a very comfortable flyer, get in the back of the aircraft, get a drink, have a cigarette. It was a long time ago. I haven't smoked for years. But I never worried about anything, and in the 10 years that I've been running FLYHT, I've learned that maybe you should listen a little better and maybe you should understand what's going on in an aircraft. The technology has proven in over 400 aircraft we've installed it in, there's 300 operational today, that it saves the customers about $100,000 a year in operating costs, depending on where they operate and how they operate. It's something that helps their crews do a better job, be more efficient, and still adoption was slow. And the problem we had was that the big airlines didn't want to buy it because they couldn't buy new aircraft with it, and they didn't want different aircraft in their fleet. So we worked hard over the last 2.5 or 3 years to build our new product and get it certified for the big aviation players. There's a thing called safety services messages in the aviation world, and you have to have a certified channel to provide both voice and data communications from the aircraft to the ground. What the 228, the new technology, delivers is that certified channel to be able to communicate with the aircraft and with the crew. A year and a half ago, Grant and I sat down and set up some management objectives that we wanted to achieve as a company, and they included become cash flow positive in 2013, providing the cash comes in from the order we announced this morning. Fourth quarter will be cash flow positive. We said that we were going to sign a major Airbus fleet as part of our initiatives this year. We have 2 fleets that I've been told have agreed to install the equipment from the Airbus factory. We don't have the purchase orders yet. We're in the final stages of certification, but we will be shipping, providing the certification goes well, by the end of the year from the Airbus factory with our equipment on board. Our priority was to get a higher valuation for our shareholders this year. We've got a lot of patient shareholders that have been with the company a long time. Grant has invested in every placement we've done. I've invested in every placement we've done. I see quite a few faces around the room that have invested and have been part of this for a long time. We've been doing the right things. We've been building the strategic relationships with L3 and other large companies to get us into the old boy network that aviation is. And unfortunately, aviation does move at the speed of darkness, and until you get to that point, you're not going anywhere. The beauty of the aviation business is once you get installed, you're on an asset that's there for 30 years, and it continues to generate revenues for the 30 years. So we've done a lot of things in the last year to improve and protect our technology, to get it certified and into the major players in aviation, and we are now seeing the benefits of that work. The L3 Airbus agreement, while not complete, the certification is ongoing right now, is in the final stages, and we will be moving forward with that. We installed 30 aircraft in China this year, and we didn't do a bunch of press releases. We didn't announce a lot of things because what the major airlines in China were doing was taking a product, installing it, training installation people, creating pilots' manuals for how to use the equipment, and getting ready to meet a mandate that was brought out in China almost 2 years ago that every aircraft in China has to have SATCOM by the end of 2016. We're a key part of getting that regulation passed. We've worked very closely with the airlines there to be a key supplier in that area, and we're very confident that we're going to see large orders coming for the next 3 years to get that fleet done. We have the only iridium-based radio license on an aircraft in China today, and that is the things that you need in this industry to be successful and get product rolled out. We announced signing a year and a half ago the NetJets fleet in Europe. They were going to install it on 30 Hawker aircraft, and then Hawker Beechcraft went into receivership after we had 10 installations done. In June of this year, they turned on those 10 aircraft after the Hawker receivership was over, and are using the results from that to decide on which fleet they're going to do next. We've got meetings in Lisbon and meetings in Columbus, Ohio before the end of the year, and hopefully we'll have things moving there. We've got a major program going with 3 different avionics providers for the C-130s. I don't know if anybody knows what a C-130 is. They call it the dump truck of the sky. It's a 50-year-old aircraft with the back end that comes down that the military uses for hauling equipment. If they're going to fly Hercules into commercial airspace, they have to have new avionics to be able to fly in commercial airspace. There's 2,400 of them on the planet. There's 3 companies doing those upgrades, and we're integrated in all 3 of them as the SATCOM provider. So our strong relationships with the regulators in Canada, China, Europe has got us a lot of movement in the market. We are approved on 40 different aircraft types, and we have product working for 40 customers around the world, 300 aircraft as Grant mentioned. We are working with the OEMs because that's the easiest way to get into the big airlines. So we have the relationship with Airbus. There was a press release a couple of months ago that the Canadian Defence Department is buying a new search and rescue aircraft. We've been selected on that program to be equipped there. We have factory installs going from Bombardier to China Express, and Embraer and AVIC and Comac are all working with us on engineering to install our products in the factory as they go forward. 2014 is the year that we expect to break out, and we're working hard to make sure that all the gains we've made in the last 2 or 3 years are capitalized on, and our shareholders are rewarded. Our 2014 management objectives is to ramp up that first order from China, continue to grow that with other airlines and more aircraft within the customers that have signed up. We want to be factory installed at 2 business aircraft OEMs. The NetJets work we're doing is a key part of that strategy to make sure that we've got other business aircraft OEMs. We're expanding our services base. The R&D on the 228 is finished. We've got some really good programmers available. We're going to be building other functions that are ready for our customers that will increase the revenue base. We're also chasing the commercial OEMs I just talked about, and fiscal year 2014 will be cash flow positive, and depending on the accountant's regulations on revenue recognition, will be profitable as well. So, the recurring revenue, as I said, is a big piece of why we're in this business. We do installations in China for $40,000 to $60,000 depending on the aircraft, and around the world, some small aircraft we've been as low as 30, but it's typically about 50,000 per aircraft when we install it. On the Airbus shipments, we get a royalty from L3, and then we provide usage-based services that generate monthly revenue. The 2012 average was $1,438 per month per tail, and that will be lower this year because of the China installs. They're starting with voice only, and then they'll add data, but we'll build it back up over time as we add services on both those contracts. The margin on the recurring revenue is 80%, and we've got that proven over 6 years of providing that, getting that revenue, and we know how to do it. The business model is we don't do the installation on the aircraft. We sell them the hardware, we sell them the certification. They do the installation. We build applications to deliver the data they want, where they want it, when they want it, and then we collect the recurring revenue and provide services. We've got customers coming up on 11 years they've been with us. They've renewed their contracts 3 times. We've never lost a customer in the history of the company. We're really an M-to-M business, and the value of the data that we drive to our customer is as high as you can get in the M-to-M space. All of our data is integrated into the systems that run our customers' systems. Maintenance systems, dispatch, flight planning, operations, payroll, all of our data gets fed into those systems. So it's what I call a sticky application. Once you've got it in there and you're doing all that for these companies, they need it. They're not going to move off our system once we're up and running. The 4 big company making opportunities, and we have a lot more initiatives that we're working on than this, is the Airbus, China SATCOM regulatory mandate, the C-130s, because there's a rush to get them done now, and what we're doing in business aviation. So with that, I will take any questions.